Hey, Vlad here from devinsideyou.com. Welcome to another video. Apologies for the weird title, but I really didn't know how to call this one. I just wanted to make a super short video in which I would elaborate how I call some of my videos, how I name them. One of the problems I have as a content creator is that I don't speak directly to you. This is a dialogue between the camera lens and me, so I don't get any direct feedback. It's kind of like the difference between cinema and theater. And so what sometimes happens is that I make, let's say, a tutorial, and most of you guys like it and even click the like button, but then eventually, some people come and how do I put this nicely? Well, let's say it's a target audience mismatch. So hopefully this super short video will help my new subscribers to navigate this channel. All content creators name their videos however they please, and this is how I do it. And by the way, I haven't always been doing it consistently, and I simply don't have the bandwidth to go through the hundreds of my previous videos and rename them. So be patient. Now, not all, but most of my videos are educational, and whenever I create those, I choose between three titles. One of them is the Getting Started Guide, the same as an introduction basically. The other one is a tutorial, and the third one is a crash course. And this video should explain the differences between them, especially the crash course. So what I do is I order them by their intensity. And let's start with the Getting Started Guide. A Getting Started Guide is an introductory kind of video. I usually make them when I'm new to the topic myself. Ironically, these are the ones that get the most views because the knowledge gap between you and me is not as wide, and so I don't have too much room to explain things in an unnecessarily complex way. I don't have enough angles. For instance, I have been using Nix for many months, not just Linux, I'm talking about Nix, but I don't consider myself an expert. In fact, I very much consider myself a beginner, such a beginner in fact, that I don't even trust myself to make a getting started video, but I will soon for sure. It will be shallow, but it will be super practical. And so it will make you feel good about yourself. You will feel like you know a lot, even though we barely scratched the surface. The next one is a tutorial, and a tutorial is arguably the only one on this list which does not require any explanation. A tutorial is a step-by-step guide to a topic. It doesn't need to be in depth, it doesn't need to cover the entire topic, however, it does need to be thorough. Most of my videos are tutorials, even though the older ones don't include the word tutorial in their title. Most of those tutorials are even from scratch, like for example the Scala Your First Programming Language series, or the Homegrown Collection series, or the Git playlist, or the tooling videos, etc. etc. A tutorial is usually for beginners. Advanced topics, on the other hand, usually don't require to be tutorials because since the target audience is advanced enough, they don't require much hand-holding. They just need to get started and they can do the research on their own. Because of this, they also don't need to be thorough, which brings us to crash courses, which is arguably the reason why I started working on this video. You will probably disagree with my definition, but here it is anyway. A crash course is something where I'll try to cram as much information as possible in the least amount of time possible. The same as being literally thrown in the water, the experience is not going to be pleasant for anybody involved. You should only watch a crash course if you don't have the time to watch a full-blown tutorial or an online course. Most importantly, and this is why we're here, a crash course is never for beginners, no matter the topic. For instance, an airplane pilot has enough knowledge to watch a crash course about flying a helicopter and at least not to feel completely lost. He might not be able to fly the helicopter on his first day, but at least it will be enough for him to get started and continue the research on his own. I made a crash course a while ago and most people loved it, but eventually a couple of people watched it that felt lost. And on one hand, it's understandable because again, I can't predict who is going to watch it, but on the other hand, crash course is not for beginners. This crash course in particular was for someone who already is a programmer, preferably with a couple of years of experience. It's for someone who is in transition from one language to another. So if you're someone who doesn't know what if expressions are, or let's say classes, then it's going to be tough. You're simply not the target audience. For instance, I'm planning on compressing my 8-hour playlist about Git into a 1-hour crash course, but it won't be a step-by-step guide. It won't be for beginners. It's going to be a crash course. I won't explain what a version control system is, at least not in depth. I won't draw any pretty diagrams like I did in this 8-hour playlist. It will be simply, this is how you init a repository, or this is how you clone it, this is how you commit, this is how you merge, this is how you resolve conflicts, maybe this is how you rebase, a couple of graphical tools or maybe plugins for an IDE, and that's it. I also make other kinds of videos, but I don't have a naming scheme for them. It's mostly getting started, step-by-step tutorial, or crash course. In any case, I don't want to turn this video into a never-ending rant, so let's wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I see you in the next one. For now, as always, it's been Vlad from devinsideyou.com. Don't forget to like this video if you did, subscribe if you want to improve the developer inside you, and if you wish to support tech education, please consider doing so on GitHub sponsors or Patreon, whichever you prefer, and also watch my videos weeks and sometimes even months before everyone else. And most importantly, take care.